For this, we'll not do the pattern, we'll be directly marking on the fabric. But before marking on the fabric, let me demonstrate on the paper how we'll be folding the fabric and how the markings will be done. Assume this is your fabric and it's 2 meters. This is the selvage, that is length of the fabric, and this is the cross grain of the fabric. Now fold it in half, that is you're folding in 1 meter. And take this part, the selvage part, and place it on the folded part. Why I did this was, as this is a fitted pant, we'll be doing it on bias so that it stretches on the body and it's comfortable to wear. So we'll be doing the markings on this folded side. The left hand side we'll be marking the ankle, and on the right hand side we'll be marking the waistline. This is the measurement sheet. The full length is 40 inches, knee length is 22 inches, crotch length is 9 inches. These are the round measurements: hip round 34, thigh round 21, knee round 14 and ankle round 10.5. First see the ankle round measurement. It's 10.5. Divide it by 2. That would be 5.25 inches. Now as I told before, the ankle will be marked on the left hand side. With the use of your measuring tape, just see where you will get 5.25 inches, that is half of the ankle round, plus there should be some space for giving the seam allowance, that is around half an inch. Now at this corner I wouldn't get 5.25, so mark wherever you would get that marking and draw a perpendicular line. So suppose this is 5.25 inches. I have another half an inch to give the seam allowance. So here you're marking half of your ankle round. Now from this line, mark 8 to 12 inches upwards, that is for the gathers. I'll mark 10 inches upwards and mark a similar line and do the same marking, that is 5.25. So this part will be for gathers at the ankle. If you do not want the gathers at the ankle, you can skip this step, that is the second line that we have drawn. Now in this class we'll be giving the gathers, so we'll assume we are doing it with gathers. Now from the second line, mark the full length towards your right. The full length here is 40 inches. So from here you will mark 40 inches. It's alright if you don't have enough fabric, just draw it. And using your set square, draw a straight line. Draw a perpendicular line. So this becomes the waistline. Now from this line, mark the crotch length downwards. Do not mark exact crotch length, add 3 inches straight. So the crotch length plus 3 inches. The crotch length here is 9. Add 3. So that becomes 12 inches. From here, measure 12 inches downwards and draw a perpendicular line. Again from the waistline towards your left, mark the knee length. The knee length here is 22 inches. From the waistline, measure 22 inches downwards and do the marking. Now we have got all the lengths. Now we'll be marking the round measurements. Ankle round we have already marked. On the knee line, mark half of knee round. The knee round here is 14 inches, so half of it will be 7 inches. Plus add 1 inch for ease of wearing. So that is the ease, 1 inch is the ease. On the crotch line, you will be marking the thigh round measurement. The thigh round is 21 inches. Half of it would be 10.5 inches. Mark 10.5. Add 2 inches ease, or you can add more. This is again for the comfort of wearing. Only on this topmost line, you will be marking quarter of the hip round, because these markings we have done half of the round measurements because it's for each leg. But on this waistline, we are marking quarter of the hip round because it goes all around the body. So quarter of hip round would be, hip round is 34 inches. Divided by 4. This is the only measurement we are dividing by 4. So it would be 8.5 plus add 1 inch ease. Now from the ease point of the waistline, draw a straight line downwards. And from this ease point on the crotch line. With your hip curve, you will be drawing a smooth curve connecting to the ease point on the knee line and again to the line above the ankle line. And from this gather line to the ankle line, you will be drawing a straight line. Now here at a 90-degree angle, connect to the straight line that you have drawn. So this is the crotch shape. So roughly this is how your pattern would look. Now before cutting the fabric, you'll be adding seam allowance all around. The seam allowance would be 1 inch bottom, that is at the ankle, half or 3/4 inch at the inseam, or this line that you see here, I'll write it as half inch at the crotch curve, and on top for the casing to put the drawstring, give it as 2 inches. Add the seam allowance and then cut the fabric. I'll roughly add the seam allowance. Now if you see, two of the layers is a part of the pattern is cut off in two of the layers. Don't worry about it. Once we cut this, with the leftover fabric, we'll be joining the missing piece. So let me cut this and show, and so that you get an idea on how it actually looks. So you'll be cutting on the seam allowance line. I'll just open this. So this is how it looks once you're done. Just to explain this further, why we took half measurement of ankle, knee and thigh was because this was for each leg, and why we took quarter measurement for hip was it goes all around the body, and these are for each legs. Now if you see here, there's a missing part. The same had to be replicated here. We'll be cutting that part now. With the leftover fabric that remained after you cut this pant, place this fabric, extra fabric, 1 inch below this line and trace the shape which is missing. Why we have kept 1 inch below is that will go for the stitching, that is to connect this extra fabric with this fabric here, for which the missing part we are going to join and cut it. We are cutting only 2 layers because the missing part is for only 2 layers. While cutting this piece, we had given 1 inch extra because when we join this piece to this part, we'll be taking a half inch seam, and half inch on either side will be gone. So the 1 inch extra will be taken there. So first thing after cutting the fabric is to join the missing pieces. So once you join, this is how it would look. Now this is just an example. Depending on how much fabric you'll be using, you may get this kind of cut, or there might be a part missing from the other side as well. So if there is any part missing, you will have to do the same way, that is cut the missing part and join it to the fabric.